All right. Hey guys, welcome to this segment. It is called Doc Talk. I am Dr. Natasha Gonzalez. I am a mental health nurse practitioner.
My name is Dr. Christine Coronado. I am an adjunct professor and a high school teacher.
Awesome. So we just met.
Yes.
But we're both writers for Veteran Essay
Mhm.
magazine.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So I know that we both do mental health articles, and mental health is obviously a huge part of veterans, and not just veterans, right? First responders. But what's your experience with mental health or with veterans specifically?
With Veterans SA specifically, my goal is to bring awareness,
Mhm.
right? So every month it's focused on the awareness of the month. Like May was Mental Health Awareness Month.
Right.
June was PTSD awareness. So my
Mhm.
goal is to get the conversation going, within the veteran community. Um, I myself am not a veteran, but my son went into the Marines and served. So, so he's a veteran, and he's kind of my inspiration for doing this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So my personal interaction, I guess, with veterans, my mom was a veteran. My dad, who I don't really know, but that's another story.
Another podcast.
Yeah, right. That's a whole nother podcast. But my ex-husband is our military. So yeah. But it's, seeing it firsthand, from a spouse perspective, and then from, a child perspective. Definitely seeing where there's a gap here in San Antonio, but in general, right, with veterans. So, and helping them, I think, start the conversation and to destigmatize mental health.
Definitely. There's so much fear in it, talking about it.
For sure.
Um, I think that's evolving. I think that's changing.
Mm-hmm.
But still within, this small population, it's a large population, but this veteran population, it's very hard, just from what I've heard, very difficult to come out, just talk about it. So
Definitely. And I think women are more proponents for speaking up and speaking out, right? Where men, I know that they talked about it earlier, but men are quicker to just be like, "Hey, man, let's go get some drinks, or let's go play pool, or let's go whatever." It's to forget, right? Not necessarily to face it, and women do as well. But I think women are again more apt to reach out, not just to their friends, but maybe to seek help, and men are not. And I think a lot of men see it as weakness, right? And that's not it at all. It takes a lot of strength to come forward and to have that conversation and start that conversation even with friends, with, fellow veterans. I have a lot of veteran friends, and they've all said how unhappy they are with the system in general, and how they feel like they don't have somebody who has their back in the system, right? They have each other,
right.
but you only know what you know. So how can they really help one another if they don't have the right tools?
That's a word. I don't want to say across the board for all men. There
Mhm.
are men that come forward and that are very willing to, um, try therapy, are open to doing um, some kind of therapeutic technique to help them. But there are a lot. I mean, just from my experience with interactions with other men specifically, um, very hesitant because it's like you said, they see it as a weakness,
Mhm.
or like, why can't I overcome this? I should be able to overcome this. Why
Right.
isn't it happening?
Yeah.
And so I think once they get to that point, that there's a realization like, I do need to reach out for help.
Right. And then where do they go? Right? Who do they talk to? What are the resources? Because the VA, is known for the long wait list, or, just not being able to have one-on-one contact, or if they do, it's very short. It's 15 minutes, 20 minutes. They don't really get to know that person. They don't really get to talk about their trauma and process and go through all of that. And that's, I think, one of the hardest parts. That's a whole nother hurdle that they have to overcome. Yeah. So I know the holidays coming up, right? 4th of July.
Mhm.
That's another thing, especially for veterans. So yeah, dealing with fireworks.
Where it's being respectful,
Right.
aware again of our veteran friends.
Definitely.
There has to be an acknowledgement that so that again, that they don't just feel shut out again from another part
Right.
of a social activity
Right.
because they're not being respected. They have, you know, not needs, but there's certain ways that they need to process
Mm-hmm.
not information, but the event, being aware of that and talk about that.
Right.
And like, hey, what do you need? What can I do to help make this event more enjoyable for you?
Right, exactly. And that's something that I wrote about in the article for
Hmm.
this month as well is, but also being open to it and
Right.
being open to the person. Let's say you're invited to a party. Okay, well, I'll be really honest. I have PTSD. So will there be a lot of fireworks? What does this look like? Are there a lot of people? Right. And then also having an exit plan if there are. So you get there, you of course all I won't say all, sorry.
Right.
That's me generalizing.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of the veterans that I know immediately are walking into situations and they're hypervigilant, right? That's part of PTSD. So they're looking for exits. They're
Yeah.
looking for, not having their back to the entrance
Right.
or to a lot of people, right? They want to know how can I, then they start to get uncomfortable and like, how do I get out of here, right? So having an exit plan as well. But number one, communicating with whoever you're going to be with and wherever you're going. Yeah. What are some of the ways that you maybe help your son, right? Who you
Mhm.
said he's a veteran. What are some of the ways that you help him as a
Um,
mom?
I keep that open dialogue. Like we've always been open with each other.
Yeah.
And even for him, he gets his what's chismo, right,
Mm,
from his dad, and he is not willing to talk about it. But there was one day where he finally broke down and was struggling, and it was with struggling with transition, into civilian life, and like I don't have a place here.
mm,
Maybe like what can we do to help? Just having that open dialogue with him, letting him know that there are that you can uh talk to different people who are experiencing the same thing, different veterans that are experiencing the same thing. Not only that, but actually doing it, like holding him accountable to actually find something
yeah.
for himself. Um, and so far, a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. I think finding healthy coping mechanisms, right? Like not just therapy, but there's groups. So staying active in the community, finding other veteran groups. There's the VFW that, has a lot of events and organizations throughout the community that they can be involved in order to help with that transition because you're right. Your son's right. Those feelings are absolutely valid. They commit their lives, to our country
Mhm.
and to the branch that they serve. And then once they're out, that title's gone. That job is gone. And so they struggle a lot with, well, who am I now? And what am I doing now? And what is my purpose? Definitely. Yeah. So I know that there are local resources, right? So Laurel Ridge is one of them. They have a great area for veterans. And I recently had a guest on my podcast who got help from them, and honestly, she said it saved her life. So,
I have students
hmm,
and speak nothing but like it really help them with whatever it is that they were at that moment.
right,
And they come back and I don't know, nobody's like, the point is not to get cured, right?
sure,
That's not what the point is, but to be able to better cope.
hmm,
And so yeah, and I've had friends that have friends that do work there, and it's a great place,
yeah,
good resource. I mean, not just a place where I just see it in my students. You know,
sure,
they
yeah, definitely. And I
those that are
know,
willing to talk to me about it.
right, right. There's that. I know there's definitely a hesitation for some veterans to seek help because they don't want to just have medication thrown at them too, right?
100%. Yes.
And I tell people, it's if you have a chemical imbalance, that's truly what it is, and that's okay. It's okay to not be okay, right? And it's okay to get the medication that you need to regulate those chemicals. It doesn't mean it's forever, right? Depending on the diagnosis. But it can be helpful. And if it's, if they're in a place where they just no longer want to be here, right? They might just need that extra push. And I tell people that's all it is, you know? Mm.
Thinking about or talking about those different types of therapies, right? One, biological, trying to balance out those or the chemical imbalances. Um, what, in your experience, what would you say is one of the most effective ways? There's cognitive behavioral therapy, there's mindfulness type therapy. Um, what would you say is one of
Yeah, honestly, CBT, talk therapy, even just, just talk about it. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to listen. Not a lot. Some people are against it because they're like, well, you're just listening to me talk. Yes, but have you ever just had somebody listen to you talk?
the,
Zero.
yeah,
Yeah. There's no bias. There's no judgment. And I'm just listening to you, you know? Um, right. Yeah. I mean, there's also exposure therapy, but that's on the other side of things, right? And that's if they're to that point where they're ready for that. But it is also necessary and helpful in certain situations. And I know that there's, VR, exposure therapy.
yes,
So literally takes them back to where they were. So Afghanistan, Iraq,
yeah,
overseas.
that's proving to be
Yes.
very effective, especially with
Mm-hmm.
how great with AI and all.
Right. Yeah. But I've talked to a few veterans that I know they are like, absolutely like there's no way. Which if that's not the case, then
Yeah.
don't, start.
That's next levels. Like you
Yes.
said, that's
Yes.
when you're ready for that.
Yes. Start at the beginning, right? So, and if that's talk therapy, then it is, right? Because CBT involves homework. And so then you have to be willing to do those exercises, which are not easy.
Yeah. So in June was PTSD
Mm-hmm.
awareness. Um, I'm sure you've heard of post-traumatic growth, like a tenet from positive psychology.
Mm-hmm.
Positive psychology is all about like focusing on you know, the the virtues that we have and bringing those out, right? Those positive virtues. Well, post-traumatic growth, it's not in the absence of post-traumatic stress.
Mm-hmm.
Like these individuals go through, the symptoms or the episodes of post-traumatic stress, but there's a growth that happens, and not everybody experiences that growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stuck in that stress part. Um, what I'm interested in doing is study more of that within the veteran community. I think I saw maybe a whole handful of articles on post traumatic growth specific in the veteran community.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was reading an article from 2023, and it talked about the experiences of their post traumatic stress, but when they, and I don't want to say the word overcome, that, but you cope with it, right? You learn
Right.
to
You process. Mm-hmm.
yes, but to get to that is an event. And so, what motivates these individuals
Mm-hmm.
to do it? And that research said it was religious based
Mm-hmm.
and deliberate, organized reflection on trauma.
Oh yeah.
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 And then it'll get them to, okay, and then it leads to like, hey, I want to do a podcast, or hey, I want to give back to the veteran community. So
Right.
it's this shift, positive shift. What I think go into next,
Yeah.
especially within San Antonio.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's about a lot of self-reflection, self-awareness, accountability, truly looking at yourself in the mirror. And that's not easy to do for a lot of people. So doing that inner child work, that shadow work, and really looking at who you are as a person. And is this the person that I want to be? Am I waking up and am I proud of myself? If I were to pass today, what's the story that would be told about me? And so even starting there but also getting down to the core of the trauma, right? And this is like a whole nother thing, but truly it's an onion, and you have to peel it, but you have to get to the core of those issues. And those core issues start at childhood. So you can't start with, what happened in the military. You have to start from the beginning. And it is a long process.
I'll never forget one of the recruiting officers when my son was signing up. He was like, you don't have to understand why he wants to. This is something that's within him.
Mm.
And I was like, I don't get it, but I get it. Like, I
Sure.
get that perspective, It's
Yeah.
like, I understand.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, I'm just here to support. I don't have personal experience within the military, kind of what we talked about. But really just supporting our veterans, supporting the community, supporting active duty members, right? And not just saying, "Oh, thanks for your service."
Right.
I mean, sure, yes, right, thank them. But it's so much deeper than that, and truly supporting them and where they're at in their journey on healing. What tidbits would you have for me, like healing or because the men's mental health just happened or passed, and just mental health awareness in general? I know that there's a month for it, but it should be every day.
It should be every day.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a big advocate for community. If you have, I think the biggest tidbit would be if you have your person,
Yeah.
talk to that person.
Definitely.
I mean, it should be a positive person, right?
Sure.
Like, someone's not gonna like help,
Yeah.
here's another shot. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely have that outlet. To have that outlet. We're social beings, right? We
For
need
sure.
to have that connection with somebody else. And that would be my tip.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody.
Definitely.
It doesn't have to be on a professional, at least have somebody.
Yeah.
And then together, maybe y'all can get to that next step.
Right. Yeah, I tell my patients, innately we all as people want to be understood and we want to be loved, right? Those are like the two major things. So another big part of it is, like you said, communication, right? So I tell people when I talk to them, try incorporating this, right? This option. So let's say, you're a veteran, you need to talk to me, we're friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, you need to talk, you're having a hard time. Do you want me to just listen or do you want me to give you advice? Number one, right? And then let you answer that. And if you say, you know what, I really just want to vent, I just want to talk, I'm just going to sit here. Just going to let you talk.
The choice.
Right.
So they're in control of that.
Right. Right. And I'll support you in the best way that I can. But I also understand that if somebody comes, people out there listening, watching, and they truly are in a really tough place and they're not okay, they're not well, and they are starting to make really bad decisions physically because of their mental status, right? 988 is a great resource. Laurel Ridge is a great resource.
Yes, it is.
There are a lot of other ways to help people.
Telehealth.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having this talk with me.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a great opportunity.
Definitely, yeah. No, and there's going to be plenty more conversations about mental health and veterans and first responders and all of that.
I look forward to that.
Definitely, yes. We need it. We need to make sure that we start this conversation and continue this conversation.
If go by your local veteran business, pick up your copy of Veteran Essay.
Yeah.
Go to veteranessay.com.
Definitely.
Look up our latest issue.
Yeah. And
It's coming out.
How do people find you?
I don't have
That's okay.
it yet.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
How do people find you?
Yeah. Okay. So my office is Liberty Alliance Group, LLC, and my Instagram is Norteño210. So you can find me there. You can DM me and I can help you with resources if needed. Yes. All right. Thank you for having us. Bye.